Spoiler alert. There you go. We're going to spoil it for you. If you've been reading 100 Bullets and you don't want to know how it ends, stop watching right now. Come back and watch it later.
I'm looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes. Looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes. Looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes. Looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes.
Hi, and welcome again to The Panel, a semi-regular roundup review type of thingy for the Santa Fe Reporter. I'm Chris Diestler, manager of True Believers Comics in beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. My panelists today, here to talk about 100 Bullets, a most amazing comic book series. Enrique Martinez. Enrique was the first gentleman that I ever turned on to 100 Bullets when issue 1 came out. I said, "You've got to read this, it's awesome." And sure enough, he stayed with it clear through the end. He moved away, came back, moved away again, read it all the way to the end. Rick Martinez. And also with me today on the panel, Andy Bramble, circulation manager for the Santa Fe Reporter. If you ever have any question about any of the minutiae involved in the telling of 100 Bullets, he knows the answer. It's great. Alright, so, general premise of 100 Bullets. You're going about your life. Some creepy guy that looks like it could work for the CIA offers you a briefcase. In the briefcase is a dossier on the person who ruined your life, a gun, and 100 untraceable bullets. And then he sits back and waits to see what you do with it. Usually a crime story is very grounded, very gritty, realistic, maybe street level. But there is some far out stuff in 100 Bullets that generally you don't see in this kind of a story.
We're tucking into corners, finding ways to fill the vacuum.
Can you be a little hammier? That'd be cool.
Ham, what up? You're ham.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
There's a way to revive, but no way to relax.
I said it before. I'll say it again.
And again.
On the record right now. Even though I think 100 Bullets is without a doubt one of the best comic book series of all time, I can sum it up for you in the end in one word: disappointing. They had me, and then they lost me. And then they got me back, and then they lost me. And then it was the greatest thing ever! And then it just kind of ended. Reading 100 Bullets from start to finish, 1 month at a time, was like being involved in the most amazing, spectacular love affair of your life, being right in the middle of the most amazing coitus you'd ever experienced, and at the very last minute when you're about to see God and heaven and angels and everything, you pull out and you never get it back.
Done differently, this could have been the best comic book ever, but that's not the case. That's not what happened with the ending. And really the last 2 years perhaps of the book, there were characters who I didn't care about, who I thought were sort of silly.
The issue right before the last one was so perfect. It was paced so perfectly. They had all these threads finally come together, and they were just kind of coming at you like bullets from a gun. Bang! Bang! Here's more! Bang! Bang! And they didn't make any concessions to anyone that hadn't read the first 98 issues. They just went at it, and you just had to keep up. And then I don't know. I can't believe that the characters who started the story, Dizzy and Graves, didn't make it out alive. I figured if anybody makes it out of this story alive, it's gonna be those two. I felt like I had been shot in the head and was dying as I read the last page.
I read the final issue, and I was totally fucking pissed off. Like, totally mad. And I came in here ranting, and we discussed it, and I was even more pissed off when I left here. After that, I went back and I read it from issue 1, the whole series, and I gotta say, it's a much more satisfying read when it's revealed like that. It opens up like a beautiful flower.
How did you come to terms with this ending?
How else were you going to end a book that's just steeped in tragedy from the very beginning?
I'll take that question.
Nice.
I mean, first of all, I think that there were some problems with the writing and common sense in the last issue. For example, if someone takes a can of gasoline and soaks your room with it, you might smell it before you enter that room, instead of walking midway through the room and being totally surprised. Little things like that really irritated me about the last issue. It made sense that they died in that way, but not with him dropping the lighter. I mean, this guy kills people with a dinky little knife, and he drops the lighter, and that's how they die. I mean, that was no way to treat those characters.
That's right. When they say Croatoa to Cole, he flips out and kills like a whole room of people with no weapons.
Yes.
All of a sudden, at the end, after all this shit, he's gonna freak out because there's a gunshot that goes off that's really important, but he doesn't fucking know that. And that's it. It's fucking crazy.
It was close too. It's close, but they just miss it making it satisfying by really not respecting the characters in that way. And again, we have Crete, the bodyguard, and his strength and his martial prowess is alluded to many times, and you keep getting the sense towards the end that he and Lono are going to go at it, but instead he ends up confronting Jackdaw, and that would have been fine, except they get eaten by alligators. One doesn't win over the other. There's like no choices made by the writer. He just goes for an easy out. It would have been much better in my eyes if Crete had killed Jack. That would have been surprising and like, wow, something really happened. Not this Peter Pan thing. The alligator comes and eats them both up.
That's the one part that I'd say would be in a really cool movie. Two dudes kicking each other's ass while alligators are chewing on them.
In a movie it would work, but not in this.
Yes,
in
that's
this
right.
medium.
That's right.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot of padding toward the end, and I don't know if that is true, that he had to pad it out to make it to 100 issues because he wanted it to be 100 bullets in every way possible. It felt padded to me, like Lost Season 2. I think my real problem with the ending of 100 Bullets is the hopeless nihilism that it represents. I followed this series faithfully and fell in love with it and fell in love with the characters, and in the end was left feeling like an empty shell casing laying on the ground, smoldering, and I had been spent for no good purpose whatsoever. I can't say that any of the disappointment that I was left with in the end precludes recommending this series, because it's amazing, it really is. And I thank Enrique and Andy for coming in to be with me here on the panel today, and that's our end assessment of one of the best comic series ever, 100 Bullets. Thanks for tuning in.
Bam!